He is Tyler Lawler.
Yo!
From Fulton, Mississippi, Justin Seeger.
Hey guys, what's going on?
From Ripley, West Virginia, the setup man, Tom Willoughby.
Glad to be here.
Mansfield, Texas's Zachary Bell.
What's up?
From Grove City, Ohio, Mike Daffner.
Nope.
From Columbus, Ohio, our producer and show writer, Peggy Lohr. From Jacksonville, Florida, Dan Foster.
Boo!
Good evening. Oh, come on.
And I am AJ Appeal. This is Racing Refresh, brought to you loud and proud by whoever's willing to pay us. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a super show. We're excited to have you. Thank you all for being here. We're going to go round table as I ask our favorite starting segment. How the hell are you?
It's been a busy past few weeks, man. I missed a couple weeks, but I'm back at it. Ready to go, man.
I'm glad to have you back. Yeah, 2 weeks. We missed a lot. We've got a lot to talk about. Tom, we had you on for our virtual race. We feature your virtual labs each week. Welcome to officially be a guest here on the show.
Hey, I am glad to be here. It's hunting season. It's NASCAR season. It's football season. It doesn't get any better than this.
Absolutely. Justin, we had you on a couple of weeks ago. We've promoted our articles on the site. You've been doing a great job with that. Welcome back to the show as well.
It's great to be back. I'm ready to get into some lovely NASCAR talk.
Of course, Dan Foster, we see his segments each week. Your first time on the show.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. Can't wait to see how it goes.
Peggy Lohr, we have you most weeks here on the show. You're kind of filling in on some big shoes without Logan. How you doing?
It has been an interesting week, but we're going to have a great show tonight.
Mikey Daffner, you've been on every season at least twice. Why do we keep bringing you back?
I have absolutely no idea. It's not like I warrant it.
And Zach Bell back again. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited. Great to be back again and talking with everybody around here.
I'm excited as well. Lawler, I've got you back here. I've got all of us back here, and we're going to have a great show. We want to get into some news, all right? We've got a good audience here. If you're in our audience, let's do us a great favor. If you're on YouTube, everybody thumbs up. Hit that like button on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, the red bar, subscribe. All right, that's how we live. Okay, we need you all to be following the page. If you don't like us, hell, just tell us. Say what you don't like in the comments. Just give us credit by commenting on the post. We're going to go right into it.
Press the button first.
Press the button, yeah. Please subscribe and then tell us to go to hell.
Yeah,
and then hit that bell while you're at it and turn on notifications.
Absolutely. We'll get right into some NASCAR news. I'm going to give everybody 10 seconds to give their thoughts on the biggest headlines in NASCAR. Roundtable, lightning fast, and we're going to see who's the most creative and most knowledgeable on these great topics. Starting with Tyler Lawler, a big major topic. Kyle Larson officially has applied for reinstatement with NASCAR, and a lot of fans think he's going to Hendrick. Your boy Larson may be coming back soon.
Look, there's an opportunity for him to go to SHR. SHR is not going to work out for him this year. Look to see him running a car in a Chevy stable for probably Hendrick. That's my pick.
You know what? Everybody should have seen this coming. He's been doing all the right things, saying all the right things, getting his act together. Wherever he winds up, it's going to be better equipment than what he had with Chip Ganassi Racing. It's going to be a monster comeback. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with next year.
Yeah, I got to agree with Tom on that one. I do believe that Hendrick Motorsports is where he's going to end up and probably have a new car number because I don't believe it's going to be the 88, but definitely good equipment.
I gotta agree. I think Hendrick's the perfect landing spot, and 2021 has Bristol Dirt. How could you not sign Kyle Larson for a Cup Series dirt race?
We have in our comment section, Eric Mullen, Kyle Larson to the number 5, bank on it. We've got an article at Racing Refresh that's been pending for a month now. We're ready to announce it to Hendrick. I got to agree with everybody here as well.
I definitely agree that he'll end up at Hendrick. I am not sure I agree with that's where he should be, but I do think that's what will happen.
I think he'll end up at Hendrick. I'd like to see him at SHR personally, but I mean, hey, wherever he goes, wherever he drives, he'll do great things for a better team than Chip Ganassi.
Something that he did great at Chip Ganassi was he did win. Look at the drivers that they've had in the 42 car over the last 15 years. J.B. McMurray, Casey Mears, Juan Montoya. Each of those drivers won in NASCAR's Cup Series, but never on a regular basis. What we have with Kyle Larson was a regular competitor and somebody who contended for championships, especially during that era where Homestead Miami was the season finale. And to know that they're still going to hit that early in the year, I'd be surprised, or I would not be surprised if maybe he took Daytona and Homestead in the first few weeks there of the schedule. Definitely a big deal. All right. Some other gossip topics we won't hit super hard, but congratulations to Dale Earnhardt Jr., NASCAR Hall of Famer, and his wife Amy, welcoming their second daughter, Nicole, and of course, little Isla, the NASCAR world already loves. Cole Custer mathematically has won the Rookie of the Year. He doesn't even have to start any more races. Lawler with the celebrating arms there in the corner because he's that Stewart-Haas fan of the group. But it was one that because of the win and the playoff status, we already knew he was going to win. But now even if he bails on the league, he still claims that. Brandon Jones will return to JGR in 2021. Natalie Decker, medically cleared to the race, will return in Texas. Now, let's go into this topic, folks. Natalie Decker, not one of the most popular drivers in the sport, but she does get a lot of attention. She's a good-looking young lady who self-promotes. She uses social media to benefit her career. She races full-time at a national touring series, and she, of course, has this recent injury. This medical clearance is a big deal, and here's why. She races for Nice Motorsports, a team that has been known historically for being underfunded until Trevor Bayne's recent success in the last couple of years with Ross Chastain. She's in a great team that can compete. Does she ever have that rebound that her fans want? We'll start with you, Justin.
I think she does. I think she has a lot of potential, but I think she has to get her medical issues dealt with. But it could definitely be a Brian Vickers story.
I love where you went there with the Brian Vickers story. But I'm going to have to disagree with you, Justin. It's going to be the polar opposite of that. She's not going to rebound. She's not going to find her way out of the Truck Series to ever make it up into, the Cup Series. I don't like her as a driver. I don't like her her style. She doesn't listen. So I'm going to say no.
You know what? Rebound from what? You have to rebound is bouncing up and down. She's never been up. No, this is not a rebound. She hasn't been up to rebound from anything. She's a less talented Danica Patrick, and that's not saying much.
Yeah, I got to agree with Tom on that one. I really don't think she had the overall talent and potential that she could have had, but I don't see her really doing much even coming back from this.
I'm going to trend towards she doesn't bounce back. I wouldn't be surprised if she ends up in the Xfinity Series for a couple of races here and there just to get a name out, but her Cup Series future is very, very bleak at best.
I don't think she rebounds either. However, I wouldn't be surprised, like Zach said, if she ends up in Xfinity only based on her good looks and her promoting and the fact that she's female.
I can't say I disagree with many of you. First of all, those of you watching, we do have Mike Daffner in the lobby. He's working on some sound equipment issues right now, but we'll have him back. As far as Tom's statement, he got me off guard a little bit. All right. Natalie Decker, I'll start with that. So the question you posed, sir, was rebound from what? You got to have your ups and downs. I'll give everybody in the lobby credit. Natalie Decker has not had success in a general consensus from fans. And frankly, hasn't proven the talent. Her statistics are not there. I don't know that she's ever led a lap in the Truck Series, which is what we know her for. Her K&N performance and up and coming, she did okay. But when we call out my girl Danica Patrick, one of the greatest open wheel drivers of the last 15 years or 20 years now, as we're moving forward in time, a go-kart champion in Britain. We all know go-karting is truly where some of the most talent sits. I don't know that I agree with you on Danica, but the question was about Natalie, so I'll give it to you and I'll drop the ball, or I'll drop it from there. We do have a wonderful rest of our show. We still have some more topics, including last week's Roval race. AJ Allmendinger, the ringer, comes out of his off and on semi-partial schedule retirement and puts an absolute show on. What he is capable of doing as far as his innovation and entertainment when he steps into the ring at any road course. He was not the fastest car. That was old Chase Briscoe, and he still managed to find a way to claim that victory. Let's go back to Peggy. You had AJ Allmendinger many times in your brain, I'm sure, with that week, and then sure enough, the last 20 laps, he's back on top.
Yeah, I don't think if Chase Briscoe wouldn't have wrecked the last couple laps, he would have won, but I still got to give Allmendinger props.
I want to go back to just real quick because we like to feature our great guests. We do have Sabrina Bell saying it's a great show. Thank you for tuning in. Folks, if you're watching us, please give us that like. Regular show watcher here, Thomas Bertram, making comments about Deegan. We talk about her quite a bit, and he says, how can I call Danica a great open-wheel driver? She only won one race by luck. Well, fuel strategy is not luck, my friend. It is a strategy. And then separately from that, her consistent average finish is one of the highest. It was higher than Tony Kanaan. It was higher than Sam Hornish Jr. Those are both Hall of Fame class drivers. Very consistent, and she kept it clean. Justin, as far as AJ Allmendinger's performance on the road course, what were you thinking there?
To be quite frank, I was thinking if Chase Briscoe didn't spin out, Chase had that race won. But kudos to AJ anyway, because he definitely showed that he could run on the Roval.
And you had an article on our site. What were your top 5 road course drivers?
My top 5 was Martin Truex Jr. at the top, Chase Elliott behind him. Might have to change that now, but AJ Allmendinger 3rd, Austin Cindric 4th, and Denny Hamlin in 5th.
Lawler, you've got your hands in the air. Some road course thoughts, please.
Well, for one, you forgot Tony Stewart, okay? But that's neither here nor there. Dinger the Ringer put on a clinic, okay? It was an awesome race. I watched every second of none of it, but nonetheless, it was an awesome race, and Dinger the Ringer put on a clinic.
I got to go with, it doesn't matter whether somebody wrecked. There's no asterisk besides wins, okay? It doesn't matter if somebody wrecked or his fuel strategy. He won. He put it in victory lane. He did everything he had to. I'm enjoying seeing the career resurgence. Loving it.
Dinger's always a front runner at the road courses. And, even with all the rain and the puddles, the big as lake sometimes, he just absolutely tore it up. And, Chase Briscoe did spin. Probably would have won it.
I want to say thanks to our new listener here. Dan Davis says, new to Racing Refresh. Hey, Tom. I'm going to assume he's talking about Mr. Tom Willoughby over here, the setup man. Thanks to our frequent contributor and good friend Kevin Rao for tuning in, and to Ed Renzi. Thank you for tuning in and watching our show. Lots of other great guests. I'm not used to being able to announce so many people at once. Thank you all for tuning in. Remember to continue liking this page. We have more to talk about, and we're still talking to AJ Allmendinger, Zach Bell.
A couple of my co-guester hosts were talking about how they think Chase Briscoe would have won that race. I'm convinced that once the puddle started to fall, I was going to wish Chase Briscoe would win, but once it really got knee deep, ankle deep in water, that was AJ Allmendinger's race to lose, in my opinion. So glad he won.
What about as far as we move to that cup race? Okay, so Clint Boyer, what an amazing run at the start of the event, representing SHR. He leads all these laps. We have Ty Dillon on the wonderful tire call, and so they end up pulling off that stage victory. Was anybody expecting an underdog in the first two stages to pull it off, or were we still banking on Chase Elliott?
I overall was still banking on Chase Elliott. I picked him in Fantasy League. I knew he'd pull it out in the end.
Yeah. Again, like I said, AJ, he always puts on a clinic, but Chase probably should have won that race.
Justin, what were you thinking about that the first two stages there? And then were they going to hang on to it, or did you know Chase had it?
I went into this race thinking it was Chase's to lose. I mean, we've seen him on the Roval. I was very impressed by Ty Dillon in the first stage, though.
After seeing the Xfinity race and the rain, it almost looked like a blooper film. So when it started, I thought anything could happen, but the cream always rises to the top, and that's how you wound up with Chase Elliott at the end.
Look, from the beginning of this podcast show, I've always said Ty Dillon is a stud. It's just a matter of figuring out when that studness was going to come out. But nonetheless, it has come out. I really, really, really was hoping he would win it. But at the end of the day, you can't go against Chase Elliott on a road course. He's number two.
I was really hoping it would be somebody other than Chase Elliott. It was not. Chase, simply put, is the best of the best on the road courses. I think that race ended the discussion of anybody else being better than him. So best of the best. What can you say?
The best of the best there. Well, we want to talk about the best of the best, and that comes into our next segment here. We're going to go right into a game. This one's a little different, you all. So we do have some other comments here. Eric Mullins saying colleague racing has been a force in Xfinity this year, and you're right. What they do with their AJ Allmendinger road course success, and of course that amazing plate program, they are a true force to be reckoned with. He says Dinger in the 16, maybe Kaz Gralla in the 10. CJ Foreman, first-time listener, I believe, says good stuff. Thank you for being here. AJ needs to run full-time in Xfinity. Guarantee he would win a title. Tom, I think that he would do great in the Cub Series, Mr. Bertram. I think that if we would sign him to a Petty, I've been saying for weeks, sign him to RPM. He raced for them in the past. 6 road courses next year, plus an amazing resume at the plate tracks. Yeah. He could realistically be a playoff contender. Our next segment we're getting into here is build the perfect team. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take an owner, a manufacturer, and a driver lineup that can be any number of drivers, and we're going to see which of us can build the best team. Between that and our opinions just now, somebody's getting voted off the island and will be booted. So we're going to get to do that right now. I'm going to start at the top here. Dan Foster, what do you have for building that perfect team?
Well, I'm a Chevy guy, born and raised, so obviously got to go with Chevy. Driver overall, I think Chase Elliott. He's one of the biggest names going into the future. And ownership, probably got to stick with Hendrick.
I have always thought Ford was the best. I would probably go with Kevin Harvick, and for ownership, I'd probably not go with Stuart Haas and probably go with Roger Penske.
I would stick with Ford right now. Ever since 2009 season, we're looking at 11 years ago. Then they introduced that great FR9 series engine. Doug Yates, Roger Penske, Jack Roush, they've really consistently worked on horsepower first. Racing's a game of speed. Without a fast car, the fastest driver, most talented driver can't win. So I would stick with Ford. Roger Penske, the captain. I'm wearing old Ryan Newman's old hat. I'm super partial and biased. I work so hard on this show not to be, but I got to say he's my owner of choice. As far as driver, I'm going to go with a one-car team. I'm going to go with Kyle Busch. He's going to do it solo. And the reason that works is look at Truex and Furniture Row. With the right speed and the right management and the right driver, it all adds up. That's my perfect team.
All right. So my perfect team, my owner is Rick Hendrick. My manufacturer is Toyota. And I'm going to do a 3-driver lineup. I'm going to get the wily veteran Denny Hamlin to come in out here and show my 2 young guns of Christopher Bell and Chase Briscoe how it's done. This team works because Denny Hamlin can groom them to be the right sort of aggressive, yet, smart, well-thought-out drivers. I think TRD, being a premier TRD team, is probably the most beneficial since there's not as many other TRD teams. And I think Rick Hendrick is the best at securing funding overall compared to all the other owners. So
I'm going to have to agree with you, AJ. I think a one-car team is the best way to go. I'm going to go with Richard Childress as my owner. I'm going to go with Toyota as my manufacturer. And it's like you said, AJ, let's go with the guy that's already done it. Martin Truex Jr., you got to pick the guy who's already won with a one-car team.
All right, you got to give me more than 10 seconds on this. I did some research on this. I am going with Toyota. They have put a ton of money, a ton of support into NASCAR. Let's think about Joe Gibbs Racing for a minute. In the 15 years before they were with Toyota, 58 wins, 126 wins since then. I'm going to go with Rick Hendrick as my owner. He has got 12 titles. He knows how to win. Nobody blends personalities and gets the best out of people like Rick Hendrick. And finally, for a driver, I'm going to go with the veteran Kevin Harvick. I think he's still got a lot of gas left in the tank. He's already proven he knows how to win, and he's not showing any signs of slowing up anytime soon. So that's my lineup.
So I'm thinking outside the box here. I'm going with Dodge, and of course you hear my dogs barking in the background. I'm going with Dodge, Tony Stewart, and Kevin Harvick.
Dodge. Bringing Dodge back. That's something Roger Penske and Ray Evernham dived into deep in the early 2000s. That one threw me off. Everybody here talking about major manufacturers that we see implemented every year in NASCAR. Of course, NASCAR's Penty series runs Dodge, so we'll call them still active. But that was interesting. Let's get everybody here on the board. And folks, it's time here. I wish it wasn't, but it's time to vote somebody out. Of course, we already lost Mike Daffner. Should we just count that as our outie? I think we should. I think Mike Daffner, the sound problems, God love him. I think Lawler is campaigning over there against Dan Foster, maybe for the next round. Lawler, I'd like you to take us to break, will you?
Sure. 15 seconds fast, Courtney Force. 13, 12. Give me some ice cream. Let's go down the track. Vroom. There's my ice cream. Yay. I love ice cream.
Thank you for that. Advance Auto Parts. Remember, you get free shipping on orders over $35. If you're just tuning in for the first time, give us a big thumbs up. I'd rather you all hear me ask you to like the video all these times rather than having to take a commercial break every 4 minutes like they do on TV. So just do us a favor and mash that like button or click that subscribe button. It goes a long way for our show, and we appreciate it. I want to say thank you to everybody that's tuned in, and a lot of people on here that are watching live from all over the country. We mentioned at the start of the show, our panel today is from all over, and so we get to tell all these different stories. We've just created all these teams, and we're doing different things. I've got Mad Mike still working on getting into the room here. Let's see if we've got him pulled in here. Mikey? We voted him off anyway, right? All right. So the show itself is called Racing Refresh. We try to be refreshing and live up to the name. And so our next segment here is going to be a little bit different. It's one we haven't done before. You all are used to the pit road picks, where we're given a topic and we say yes or no. Well, this one is buy or sell. You may have seen it on your favorite sports show. They do it a lot with fantasy football. We're going to do it with race car drivers. And so with this segment, we are going to start with Peggy Lore and Eric Jones. Are you buying or selling on his free agent market? She says sell. No words needed.
I gotta say bye.
2 thumbs down from Lawler.
I'm buying, and I'm buying twice.
2 thumbs up from Zach.
I got to agree with Zach. I'm buying in.
I am selling 2 wins in 3 years. His JGR teammates have 34 wins in the same time frame. Last year's championship was a JGR party, and he wasn't invited. Couldn't get out of the round of 16. I'm selling.
He's selling. He says he's selling. As far as Eric Jones, I don't know. I love that you mentioned he only has 2 wins after all these years with TRD. Of course, he did win in the lower series. I don't know. He does the what makes it hard, Tom. I want to go back to you here. I'll give you a chance to rebuttal. He won at Daytona and Darlington. Did the fact that he's winning crown jewel type races change your mind any? And of course, he won the Clash this year in that POS. Does that change anything?
I grade it more on what's his equipment like and what he's done in the same equipment as his peers. And he's in awfully good equipment and isn't getting the same results. So I don't know whether the crown jewels make those wins worth anymore, at least not in my opinion.
I think that's more than fair. Our next one here, folks, is Corey LaJoie. And I think we may all have the same answer. So we're just going to do thumbs up, thumbs down on this one. Corey LaJoie, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone up? Oh, we've got 1 up. Zach, I'll give you a chance to defend yourself. What do we have here?
I think Corey LaJoie is a driver who elevates his equipment. I think that he's outperformed DiBenedetto in the Go Fast car. So if you were someone who stood for and defended Matt DiBenedetto getting the 95, I don't see why you wouldn't buy into Corey LaJoie. He has funding. I'm actually buying him more than I am Eric Jones. That's my take.
I wish Logan Morris was here for this next one. It's very obvious, in my opinion, that we'll all be saying thumbs up. Kyle Larson. I really believe Logan may have said thumbs down on that one. Matt Kenseth. Lawler, let's go to you, brother. You've got your hand right up the middle. You said, why?
Take it or leave it. Kenseth, he's a hell of a driver, but I could take him. I could leave him. Just depends upon what kind of depth I need. He's very knowledgeable. He could help train or give guidance to the new up-and-comers, but I would take him. I would leave him.
Take him or leave him. Haley Deegan. Not necessarily a free agent. She's pretty well locked down in her Ford deal. Oh, we've got Zach here with the rule breaker. Why?
Does finishing 7th in the ARCA series when there's 8 full-time cars impress any of us? I don't know. I think that maybe the ARCA cars aren't her style, but I'm concerned with the ARCA performance. And if you can't perform in ARCA, what am I supposed to believe if you can perform anything better than ARCA in the ARCA series?
Jesse Owuji. This one was hard for me. Jesse, in my opinion, has become a friend of ours. I'll go to you, Lawler. Jesse, we've had you on the show. You're a true talented and opinionated man when it comes to your time with NBC. We're proud of your experience in serving our country with the Naval Academy. I had to turn my head down, but I love that you stick with the sport and you represented some great causes. Lawler, you've said to come to you, though. What do you got on Jesse?
He's multi-talented. Not only can he run the circle track, but he's also pretty decent at the road course. So if I was a smaller team like MBM, I would pick him up. Coming up into this season where we're going to have 6 road courses and you're a small team like I said, MBM, you would be insane not to pick him up. He's going to give you what you need for not only the circle tracks, but also for the road courses. I'm picking him up.
All right, let's go to his teammate at MBM then. What about Timmy Hill?
Pick him up, everybody. Thumbs up.
Peyton, what do you got? All right, she went a little this way. Why?
He just really hasn't done much.
Well, I think that whether you love him or hate him or think he's capable, what opportunities has he had, really? Lawler's saying come back to him.
Listen, so COVID non-race season, what did they do? They went to sim racing where everybody drives the exact same car. And what happened? He outperformed the Cup regular top 10 drivers. You put this dude behind the wheel of an SHR or a Hendrick or a Gibbs, and he's going to perform top week in, week out. So for you to say, get out of here.
James Busher, and here's why I mentioned him, folks. James Busher, 2015 truck champion turned retiree and real estate agent. But he's returning to the trucks at Texas. James Busher coming back. Anybody have thoughts on him? I'm gonna match the lower half there and say thumbs down, but Tom and Peggy and Dan all saying maybe. Why?
Yeah, I just got to wait and see. Not enough evidence to go either way at this point.
Yeah, again, I mean, he's been out of a ride for a few years now and really hasn't ran anything competitively until I really see him on the track and see, just what kind of consistency he does have.
I do want to recognize that scroller at the bottom. Just moments before we went on air tonight, Brett Holmes. He won that ARCA Menards Championship in Kansas Speedway. This is why it's a big deal. First, we're happy for him. Our good friend Matt Nicholson, who's on the show, is a part of that race team, and so we're celebrating with them. But separately, Michael Self, of course, is the go-to driver. He is the current Frank Kimmel of the Menard series. That's who we expect to win. And of course, he dethroned him. He won that championship. So congratulations to him. I want to stick with now. Holmes is working his way up. He comes from Alabama and he's had some great. Michael Self, though, he's been in the sport a long time. So let's take that name, Michael Self. Are we buying or selling? Or are we just going to keep him in ARCA? Got a couple thumbs up. You don't know, Peggy? Justin, you haven't made an additional comment in a couple of these drivers. You got a thumbs up pretty confidently. What are you thinking about him?
I think he's shown enough in the ARCA series to at least give him a shot in the upper touring series of NASCAR. I don't know for sure that he would be a star, but I think he's shown enough in ARCA to at least give him a chance.
I could see that being fair. The next driver we have here is AJ Allmendinger. Everybody a thumbs up? I'm going to say thumbs up only if he runs Cup. If he's running Xfinity, it is not worth the time. It's not worth it. It's not going to work. They're not going to promote him the proper way. If he gets a great chance in Cup, go for it. If not, he's paid really well at NBC. All right, NBC pays out top dollar, and I think he loves his part-time. AJ Allmendinger, I'm going to say if Cup. Greg Galding. So here's something interesting while you're all contemplating that one. Greg Galding is in his 7th year already. They mentioned this at the Roval last week. Already his 7th year, but he's only 22 years old. And I can't recall a driver being 15 when they started in the National Touring Series other than Kyle Busch. But there must have been an exception. Rick Allen reported that at Roval. I'm going to say no. I don't know that he's proven much to me. What about Justin Allgaier? Dan with the thumbs down. Dan the man. Why the thumbs down, brother?
I just feel, yeah, he's a good, consistent driver. And if I was going to start a team, he'd be somebody I'd look at. But like long term over the course of the year, he just doesn't really show, that championship form that we look at and look for. So I just overall, just average driver.
I think that's fair. Talking about average drivers, I consider myself an average driver when it comes to that video game. I think that depending on the audience, I might win every time or I might not win for weeks. Well, when it comes to video game and virtual, we use our good friend Tom Willoughby to teach us each week what we're doing right and wrong on the race. What are we looking for? We're going to play your virtual lap for the week. It's time for that. What kind of things are we getting into here?
Well, Kansas in the virtual world is different than Kansas in the real world. In the virtual world, you got to hug that line, that high line. It's a place that in the virtual world, Kyle Larson would love it. So you got to be on the high line at Kansas to go fast. So that's what you're looking for.
All right, here we are. Thank you very much, and everybody enjoy that virtual segment.
All right, what's up, everybody? I am at Virtual Kansas Speedway, running the Clint Boyer scheme to honor him since he has announced he is retiring and since he is from Kansas. So let me see if I can channel my inner Clint Boyer and give you guys some entertainment here. This is for my friends at Racing Refresh. They do a broadcast every Friday, 9 o'clock. Check them out, Facebook, Twitter, or at racingrefresh.com, an hour of everything NASCAR. You will enjoy, you will be entertained, you will come away from it knowing more about NASCAR than you did before. So be sure to check them out. But let's get to work at Kansas. In the video game world, the high side is the fast way around Kansas. So you barely lift at the entrance to the corner, then you rim ride all the way around that corner with the throttle wide open. Coming into 3 and 4, you're going to basically do the same thing. You might lift just a little. If you really hit it perfect, you can run 3 and 4 wide open on fresh tires. Look for the green traffic light and dive bomb to the bottom. Take advantage of the change in elevation. Get that downhill run. And that is how you run a lap at Virtual Kansas Speedway in the Cup Series. That being said, I am just going to show this setup real quick. That was not my fastest lap, but I think it was a pretty good lap considering that I was talking about as fast as I was driving. There is the setup. I've got a full setup video on my channel, The Setup Man, where I can talk about the line, the setup, all the nuances of it. Check me out too. But back to my friends at Racing Refresh. Thank you guys for letting me be a part of the broadcast. Always enjoy it and always appreciate it. And keep that great content about NASCAR coming every Friday. I know I always enjoy tuning in.
Thanks a lot for doing that for us this week, Tom. And of course, it's interesting throwing it to yourself, I'm sure. I appreciate it. We're going to get everybody right back in here. But I just want to know, I'm not mechanically inclined, okay? I know a lot about racing, and I think I'm pretty good at video games. But where is it, as far as your background, what makes you so great at doing these setups? You've got nearly 1,000 YouTube subscribers. These men and women really care about the advice you're providing them.
I am not at all mechanically inclined either. My mom was a loan officer, and I grew up to be an accountant, so I became very data. So really, it's a lot of just understanding of what each adjustment does and kind of figuring out from there and doing, like, going back to my background, data analysis to say, if the car is doing X, you adjust Y, and kind of taking that analytical approach to it. It works real well in the video game world. Nobody is calling me from Hendrick Motorsports asking me to be a crew chief in the real world, though.
Well, I tell you, we have, and I'm going to add everybody back in here, we have quite a few of our people here play the video game NASCAR Heat, and even in this group itself, I believe, everybody here plays. Lawler a little part-time, and everybody in the room plays the NASCAR Heat game. Zach, you commissioned the Reddit Racing League, which Justin's a part of. Dan and Peggy have raced with me for many years, and I'm telling you, you're really helping, and I'm really glad that you do this for us and with us.
Oh, I have so much fun doing those videos. Thank you guys for letting me be a part of it, and I have so much fun playing around with the custom setups and trying to squeeze that last 1/10 of a second of speed out of a setup.
Absolutely. We move forward now to our race preview already, folks. And so we are at Kansas. As we still have our scroller here saying breaking news. Once again, if you're just joining us, Brett Holmes won the ARCA Menards Championship at Kansas this week. And we have now a playoff race at Kansas Motor Speedway, or Kansas Speedway, I should call it. As far as Kansas goes, I see that it's going to be Chase Elliott as the favorite. He's coming off that wonderful win at the Roval. He won at Kansas in the past, and he's just really consistent this time of the week. I want everybody, kind of think about it. But is anybody disagreeing with me. We'll start with Tom. We'll go right back to you and let me know what you're thinking about Kansas.
You're muted.
We're seeing a lot of the stuff in the outside world get back to normal. We're seeing the pandemic start to go away, and I think we see the NASCAR world get back to normal. I think it's going to be Denny Hamlin or Kevin Harvick this week. I think that as we get later in the season and those two emerge as the championship contenders, you're going to see them getting the best equipment, the best ideas from their respective teams, and I think we're going to see those two go back to their winning ways. So I think it's going to be one of those two.
All right, Justin, he mentioned a couple of drivers there. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking we see a resurgence from two guys that are currently below the cut line. Either Joey Logano or Martin Truex Jr. gets the win at Kansas.
Joey or Martin Truex. Now, let's be pretty transparent here. Truex is your favorite, is he not?
Oh, yeah, but let's not forget, he was the mile-and-a-half king in 2017, so...
Well, in 2017, Michael Waltrip had the best average finish. I didn't forget that either. You don't believe me? Look it up. I already did. On to Zach Bell.
Justin, it's 2020. We all know it's a new year. We know who's winning this race at Kansas. It's Denny Hamlin. He won in July. He won last year's playoff race. Denny Hamlin clinching his spot at Phoenix. We'll see you there. We'll crown the championship, and Denny's getting it all.
Number 14, the hometown boy. He's going to bring home the W for Stewart-Haas Racing, probably his last win racing full-time in the Cup Series. It's going to be my boy and your boy, Mr. Appeal, Clint Boyer. Whew, can't speak today.
We had the French pronunciation, the Clint Boyer. Dan.
As much as I want to agree and hope that Clint Boyer does win, just it's his last race there at his home track, but I do believe it is going to be SHR. I don't believe it's going to be Boyer. I don't believe it's going to be Custer. I'm going to have to go with Kevin Harvick.
Peggy, who you have for Kansas?
I got to agree with you, and I do think it's going to be Chase Elliott. He won there his first race, and I picked him in Fantasy League, and whoever it is, it's definitely not going to be Clint Boyer.
Well, I promised whoever got voted off the first half of the show, we'd bring back. And it is not a nice moment with Mike Daffner if we don't provide a little bit of some DAF stats. Okay, Mike Daffner, our statistician, we're going to go to you. Who is your pick for Kansas and why? I'm sure you have some great numbers for it.
He is unmuted and still not talking. That is awesome. That is like a whole new talent I've ever seen from him. That guy, he's...
Whoa, Tyler, I gotta ask. The race is in Kansas, but this is not the Wizard of Oz. What kind of a fantasy world are we living in here that you think he's going to win when he hasn't won in I don't know how long, and you think he's going to win at his home track when he's got teammates fighting for a championship that you know are going to get the best of the best equipment? This ain't the Wizard of Oz, Tyler. I'm sorry.
You may think this is not the Wizard of Oz, but weirder things have happened. Denny Hamlin's last Daytona win? Come on now. Tell me, is NASCAR setting races up? If so, huh? What better than to send him out at his home track with a win?
All right,
let me tell you, weirder things may have happened, but I don't go live on the internet and predict weird things like this to happen.
All right, time to duel. Tom and Tyler.
All right. NASCAR wants to draw more fans in. What is a better way to do it than to get people to go to their hometown track? What's a way to get people to go to their hometown track? To see their hometown hero win at their hometown track, i.e. Boyer or Boyer wins at his hometown track.
No, people are already going because they know it's the last chance to see their hometown boy. So they're already going to be there. They don't need to set up this manufactured win for him to draw more interest. The interest is already there. Boyer set him up with his personality and his antics to be a very beloved guy. They're going to pack the stands. There's going to be people wearing the 14 shirts and holding up the 14 signs. That's all there just because of who he is and what he's accomplished in the sport. But no, he's not going to win it.
Okay, Boyer wins. How much money are you giving me?
I'll pay you twice what AJ's paying you to be on the show if he wins.
Deal. That's 2 lunches, dude.
Oh, 2 lunches. What are you going to give me when he loses?
2 lunches.
Okay. You're on virtual handshake or fist bump, whatever.
Well, I think they went away, so it's the Tyler and Tom show.
So we can talk about them since they have gone away, right?
Yeah. I do want to say about your setups. Your setups have absolutely helped me drastically. I go from like 42nd to 41st, but I'm not 4 laps down now.
Well, I'm glad they can help you. You know, so I guess even a blind squirrel finds a nut occasionally.
Exactly. So what are your predictions for the championship this year?
You know, I go back to the Phoenix race last year in the fall, and remember how Denny Hamlin dominated that thing and walked away with it. I think when we have the championship race at Phoenix this year, it's going to be the Denny Hamlin show all over again. I think the Gibbs team still has the notes from there. He was such a dominant. At one point, he had a 6 or 8 second lead at a short track. So I think when they get back to Phoenix, it's going to be the Denny Hamlin show.
You know, that's my biggest worry. As a Stewart Haas fan, I obviously want to see Harvick win. I want to see him take the championship this year. But when you're ending in Phoenix like they are, it is not it's not a Stewart Haas track. They don't do well there. So it's exciting to see. It's going to be exciting to see what Stewart Haas puts together for that for ride. That being said, do you see either of those two winning the race, or do you just see it come down to Hamlin or Harvick finishes higher than the other?
At Kansas or at Phoenix?
We're talking Phoenix. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Phoenix, I'm seeing Hamlin win it. That's my prediction a few weeks out is I'm seeing Hamlin win it.
Okay. Well, going into the 2021 season, okay, so we're
into the future. Hold on. My crystal ball's on a different desk here. Hold on. Let me dust it off a little bit there. Okay.
Dust it off. What are your predictions going into the off season with this silly season? Are we going to have a huge blow up of I'm going to take him, you could take him, I'm going to take him, you would take him, and a bunch of drivers getting shuffled? Or are we going to see just a couple big names?
Well, let's go at it from how many slots are available. Okay, you've got potentially the 48 slot, and there are rumors that they might be a 3-car team. You've got Stewart Haas. You don't have a lot of real high quality rides available. So there may be some shuffling around of the lower tier teams. There's not very many big name or big high quality top tier championship caliber slots available. So I don't think you see that much shuffling because, you know, the chips started falling probably when Keselowski re-signed, and most recently you got De Benedetto re-signing. There's just not that many openings. I think this was a lot more interesting discussion a month or two ago, but I think we got a lot of pieces in the puzzle now.
So I think for me, what the big thing is, the biggest holdup right now is what's going to happen to the 4th ride at Hendricks. I think once that falls into place, everything's just going to domino effect behind it, and that's when we're going to start seeing everything.
Well, I tell you, you guys went from debating to being friends And isn't that always how this seems to work out?
He's about to owe me 2 lunches, dude. And you know I like my lunches.
Let's bring everybody back in. I always love when we have a nice duel. The last time we did, it seemed like it was Logan and Lawler fighting over whether or not a NASCAR driver had murdered somebody. And so now this time we're talking lunches. Let's hit back into our comments here as we wind down towards the end of the show. First of all, Lawler, you're usually pretty popular in our audience as far as the debates. Eric Mullen, though, saying the setup man, he's on point. And then we have Dan Davis here. He says
that cost me 3 lunches to get him to put that comment up there.
Look, here's the reason why I'm not popular, because I'm going up against a man that is extremely intelligent in NASCAR versus I'm going up against Logan normally. I mean, that's
let's bring back some of the guys from our Racing Refresh website, a little more of our calmer audience. We've got Zach and Justin down there on the bottom of the screen. You've been able to take in a lot of this tonight. The two of you, let's put you on screen, and now you get to debate. Who is the most valuable off-season favorite, Justin and Zach?
If you're looking for the best current free agent, it's got to be Kyle Larson. I mean, nobody has the better resume than he does.
I'll say Eric Jones has more value in that I think he can attract more sponsorship. I mean, I know we've talked about that some of the JGR stuff is a lot of it comes from like the Kenseth deal from before, but I do think some of those sponsors may follow Eric Jones. I'd like to think so. We talk about winning at Daytona and Talladega's fluky. It's luck and talent. It really is. I think the Darlington win stands out as more impressive than anything Kyle Larson's won personally. So I'll hang my hat on Eric Jones being a more valuable free agent. I think Kyle Larson after the incident will turn away sponsorship opportunities, and I think that'll make Eric Jones the more valuable free agent.
Look, I'm gonna have to jump in here, guys. I apologize. There is no way if Kyle Larson gets on at Hendrick that Hendrick does not pull out a bunch of sponsors for him. There is one thing that Hendrick is awesome at, and that is funding his teams. Hendrick Motorsports will take Larson and will get him any sponsorship that he needs. And Chevrolet is going to sponsor the car, and Chevrolet is going to pick up his race team again. Now, McDonald's, I think he's probably burnt that bridge, but nonetheless.
So we turn that into another battle where Lawler just says, you know what, folks, I'm taking this one over. And so thank you, Zach and Justin, for your time on your thoughts on that one. Let's bring in now Peggy and Dan for a nice argument, which I'm sure Lawler will take over. The question I have for Dan, Peggy, for the two of you is, out of all of our guests we had today, which of them is most like Logan Morris?
Ladies first.
Most like Logan? I feel like Tyler.
I think, to me personally, it's going to have to be Tom. Very opinionated. Come up with good answers and thought through answers, not just off the top of his head coming up with something. But like Logan, he'll come up with an answer, but it's something that has like facts behind it and a little bit of kookiness every once in a while.
Hey, I crammed for this show like it was a college final, okay? I was like, there was smoke coming off the keyboard. I was Googling so many things. I even have notes written down. I was prepping for this thing in a hurry.
We appreciate it. I'm so glad everybody's we knew this show was going to be a party. We knew we were going to clash a little bit. It's been a lot of fun. We've had watchers in our lobby the entire night. And we have another comment here, as a matter of fact here. So Dan Davis now saying Hendrick's great at securing. He's quoting you, Lawler. When was the last time somebody in comments quoted somebody? Didn't they struggle getting sponsorship for the 88?
Struggle.
Right.
But did they? They did. Nonetheless, there will be sponsorship for Larson on that team. I don't know what number they're going to run, probably the 5. Nonetheless, he will have sponsorship just like he got sponsorship for the 88. Struggle or not, he could do it. Hendrick is the man when it comes to that.
But I feel like Chevy Goods is like TRD sponsoring like Daniel Suarez in the '96 car. Like it's already the money's already there. It's not necessarily sponsorship. It's just extra additional logos to put on the car essentially.
No, see, what I said was Chevy would be a sponsor, not sponsor the whole thing like they do for his program.
We have another comment there. Dan's saying, Dan Davis, he's confirming Tom did do his research prior to that. I appreciate that.
I may have leaned on a few friends to help me with some of these things.
That's okay.
I leaned on the 2 friends that I have. So, yeah. No, but go back to Larson. As much as everybody talks about the 48, and I think they're probably going to be right, I am really rooting for him to be in a Stewart-Haas machine next year. Tony Stewart, I think, has a little bit of a man crush on him. He's called him the most talented driver out there. I think he would do well in that organization. I'm rooting for him to be there, but I'm not willing to bet Tyler any more lunches on it. But I would like to see it. That's just my personal where my heart is on that one.
I'm with you though. I would love to see him go there, but it's not the stars aren't lining up. He's not going to go to Stewart-Haas.
As much as it pains me to say this, I have to agree with you. It's what I'm wanting. But you know what? I'm probably not going to get what I want.
Oh, that's one of Logan's favorite lines.
You hear that, Dan Davis? You hear that?
See, I'm channeling my Logan in his absence. If I start coughing, you'll know that he's like possessed my body and taken it over.
Logan, we hope you're tuning in tonight. Logan a little under the weather this week, and so actually he texted me before the show, and he said that Lawler gets paid more than he does and took the last 2 weeks off, so he deserves a week off too. I'm really glad.
Big Macs aren't cheap, bud.
I'm glad to see that Lawler's back. Logan will be back very soon. Folks, it's the end of our show. We're getting there for sure. And, it's our favorite is when we get to wind down the end of our night. If you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube Live, we hope you've enjoyed it. Our final plug of the night is to say, click that like button, mash that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. We've had members in our audience all night long. And as a matter of fact, we just got a new one. So thank you all for tuning in. Please join our page and share with your friends if you like our product. And if you don't, tell us what you don't like about it, because we're going to keep improving it, I promise. To everybody here in our lobby. What's that?
And then watch next week and the week after and the week after and keep telling us. That's the only way we get better, I think.
That's right. Speaking of which, one more here. Davis saying the move of Bowman to 48 tells him that whoever they signed to fourth ride has sponsorship coming with them. So maybe that's a whole line of people agreeing with Tyler.
I'm telling you, you just put that bus in reverse, buddy. I'm backing up. I'll catch you.
Hey, I'm reading these comments from Dan Davis. I think he needs to be the other slot on here. I think we need to put him on the next panel. He's got some good insights here. He's my buddy. I think he's got to be on the next show.
Or Dan.
We'll Oh, here we go. I'm gonna hear about that one, saying we're gonna get rid of Logan. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. It is time for closing time. I think you can hear me. I don't know if you can see me, but that's okay. At the end of every show, we give everybody an opportunity to share what's on their mind and have some final words. We're going to stick with our guests first. Tom, we're going to start with you. You were very opinionated tonight, and hopefully you can share some final thoughts as we wind down tonight.
You say I was opinionated. I would like to say I am myself, and I want to say this. If you follow me, I am always 100% right 62% of the time. No, I am going to say that it was a great show. I wish we could have talked more about the Xfinity Roval race, because that looked like a blooper film. But I hope I did well enough that you have me back on. And I want to thank my buddy Dan Davis for tuning in and chiming in with some comments.
Absolutely. To Peggy Lore, your final words and maybe something on behalf of Logan, I'm sure.
Logan wishes he could be here. We've had a rough week, but hopefully we'll both be back and better next week.
To Dan Foster.
Definitely want to send thoughts and prayers out to Peggy and and Logan up there. But just want to say thank you guys for having me on the show. I do appreciate it. Hopefully next time be on a little longer and we can maybe take Tyler off for 2 or 3 episodes. I'm okay with that.
To Zach Bell from Mansfield, Texas.
First off, I want to thanks the shout out to Mansfield, Texas, greatest city in Texas. I'm kidding, but I want to thank my parents for tuning in. Of course, I want to say to Peyton and Logan, I hope you guys both get feeling better. And I had a great time with everybody on the show except for Justin.
And Justin, you get to rebuttal, sir. Your final words, please.
I don't have anything to say to Zach, but I just want to say that it was a great show, and I'm glad that I was able to be on. Thanks to everybody who's watching, and Peggy and Logan, my thoughts and prayers are with y'all.
To Tyler Lawler.
Just want to thank the Racing Refresh family, Justin, Peyton, and Zach for all that they've done so far for the page, let alone the show. I want to thank Tom. Without you, Tom, I would have just been arguing with myself. Davis, man, watch us every week. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Call me out every week. Get me fired up. That's what everybody loves. And I don't think I'm leaving anybody out. Yep, so that's it.
Of course, Mad Mike does need his final words. Mikey is not in the lobby right now. Let's see if we can get him pitched in one final time.
Can you guys hear me?
There he is.
One final word about Kansas. Harvick has a 9.6 average finish, whereas the next closest is Jimmy Johnson with an 11.1.
Those are your DAF stats for the night. Thank you very much, all of you, for tuning in. I hope you can hear me. I know you can see me here. It's been a real honor to have everybody in tonight. This has been a fun show. To Justin Seeger from Fulton, Mississippi, Tom Willoughby, the setup man from Ripley, West Virginia, Zach Bell from Mansfield, Texas, Mike Daffner from Grove City, Ohio, Dan Foster from Fernandina Beach, Florida, Tyler Lawler from Obetz, Ohio, Zach Bell from, wait a minute, you can't comment twice on a roster, Peggy Lohr from Columbus, Ohio. And myself, AJ Appeal from Studio 1396, the Clayton Compound. I want you all to do some kind things. Be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Smile, be happy, and until then, take care. Sea amable consigo mismo, sea amable con otros, sonría, sea feliz. Hasta entonces, cuídese. Take care. Good night.